Hello, Pally.
Today is Friday, December 7th.
INFocus starts right now. Auditions are right around the corner for the new Pally Theater production.
And as Pally celebrates its centennial, we'll get to look at the school's past.
And it's been a busy day in Mueller's Russia meddling investigation.
All that and more is coming up on today's show.
Welcome to INFocus. I'm Stella Essenmacher.
And I'm Leon Friedrichspitz.
There's a lot going on around campus.
Here's some important announcements from today's campus bulletin.
Sugar Yes Please, a student-run business, is back with all new winter scents. The products are natural homemade sugar scrubs and make great holiday gifts. The scrubs are made with white or brown sugar, essential oils, and olive or coconut oil, and are made in room 705 right here on the Pally campus. Proceeds support the Pally Futures program. Questions or orders can be emailed to the link on screen. When placing an order, please make sure to specify quantity and scent. Each jar costs $5 while 2 jars cost $8. Another great way to relieve stress this final season is to attend Rock the Sock. There will be fuzzy sock decorating, hot chocolate, games, and chances to win gift cards from Pete's and Teaspoon and more. The event will take place this evening from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Teen Center at the Mitchell Park Community Center.
Teens Arts Council's second open mic of the year is tonight from 7 to 9 at the Mitchell Park Library and the Elk Room. There will be free food and lots of fun. Pally Theater will be hosting auditions for the next upcoming production of Guys and Dolls. Auditions are open to all students and will take place in the PAC next week. For more information, visit pallytheater.com. This week, Pally Choir will host the 16th annual Madrigal Feast. The feast, a musical set in the time of Henry VIII, is an annual tradition at Pally. Money raised from the event will go towards sheet music and funding for group retreats. For more information, visit pallychoirs.com. Doors open at 1:30 p.m. and the show starts at 2 and runs till 4.
Moving on now from what's going on around campus to what's happening in the world and locally today.
Let's take a look at what's topping today's headlines in today's News Minute.
We are now learning Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team interviewed White House Chief of Staff John Kelly in recent months. Kelly is expected to resign in the coming days. He is the latest high-ranking White House official known to provide information for Mueller's investigation. Mueller's questions to Kelly reportedly centered on issues focusing on possible obstruction of justice.
Former campaign aide for Donald Trump, George Papadopoulos, has done his time, and he's been released from prison. Papadopoulos served a 14-day sentence for lying to his investigators about his contacts with individuals tied to Russia during the 2016 election campaign. He was released from Federal Correctional Institution in Oxford, Wisconsin, Friday, just after 10 a.m.
2 court filings due from Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team are expected to provide more insight about former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort and President Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen. The document set to be filed in Washington will likely explain how Cohen cooperated with Mueller and why Mueller accused Manafort of lying and breaking his plea deal.
And now for a happy story. Tyler Perry's newest role in Santa Claus, but he's not the big screen in real life. As Brittany Edney reports from Douglasville, Georgia, Perry provided holiday gifts for some people in real life. From toys, tech, and TVs, baskets were filled to the brims. Pushed by some parents who weren't sure if the holidays would even happen, Perry paid off $434,000 worth of layaway items at 2 Walmarts.
Moving on now from what is topping the headlines right now to what's topping the headlines in the past.
And Kyle, our very own resident historian, has been learning more.
What do you have for us today, Kyle?
Well, Stella, on this day in 1941, Pearl Harbor was bombed by Japanese planes. As the Japanese Empire expanded during the start of World War II, it seemed that the only force capable of challenging them in the Pacific was the formidable American fleet. Additionally, Japanese interests in Southeast Asia, including the Philippines, Guam, and Wake Island, were all protected by U.S. forces. Because of this, the Japanese military leadership planned a surprise attack on the Hawaiian naval base. On the morning of December 7, 1941, 353 aircraft bombed the harbor, killing over 2,400 Americans and destroying 188 aircraft and 8 ships. The attack shook the United States out of its state of isolationism, and the next day, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt called it a date which will live in infamy when asking Congress for a formal declaration of war on Japan. War was nearly unanimously declared, officially bringing the U.S. into World War II. Well, that's all from me. Back to you, Stella and Leon.
Thanks, Kyle. It's hard to believe that Pali has been around for 100 years.
It really is. I mean, can you imagine coming to Pali in a horse or a buggy? Or a Model T?
Although nobody from the early days of Pali is still on the staff, we do have some staff members who have been at the school for a long time and can offer a lot of insight into what Pali's past was like. Here's more.
In recognition of the centennial, an alumni explained how student life at Pali has changed over the years. One particularly well-known teacher, Mr. Lim, offered his stories of life on campus.
My name is Arnie Lim. I'm a graduate of Pali in 1980. I am a math teacher here and teacher advisor.
Mr. Lim recalls some very memorable senior pranks.
Putting cow eyeballs in the pool.
Camo, a well-known tradition, started while Mr. Lim was a teacher at Pali.
1 year for homecoming, this particular graduating class chose to use camouflage and an army theme, green, for their green and white. The junior class behind it thought that was pretty cool. And they said, okay, let's go ahead and continue it and see what happens. And it's stuck.
The senior deck has changed throughout the years.
It's not the deck, but it's not the senior place anymore, really, sort of. So I don't know if any class has really commandeered a certain space here at this point. They're still trying to figure it out. And again, once these portals move, then hopefully there'll be more space for people to say, this is ours, this is ours, this is ours. That really is a natural thing to happen because, you know, as creatures of habit, you go back to where you've been and what you look forward to.
As a
Jason.
Speaking of him, Jason is in the studio now with the latest in Pali sports news.
How did Pali compete yesterday?
Dunked on Fremont with a score of 55-40. On the field, boys varsity soccer was defeated by San Benito, losing 2-1. Today at 7 p.m., boys varsity basketball will break away at Aptos. I'm Jason Goldie, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jason. Well, that does it for today's episode.
Be sure to check be sure to visit our website to check out old episodes, check the bulletin, or to send us an email.
Until next time, have a great day, Pali.